Okay, so now I'm going to walk you through how to make some basic selections and then how to bring those selections over into a new project. So we have this whole little navigation system set up. I've got my images that I want to select, and I've got my workplace where I want to paste them all into it. So it's kind of like collaging. It's like cutting these guys out of magazines and pasting them onto a canvas or a big poster. I'm sure some of you have done that in the past. Very simple, and I'll show you how to make these selections. So before we start doing selections, I want to remind you guys about this Move tool, which can be found by clicking the keyboard key V or just clicking that little arrow. And this means I can now move my image around or change and adjust its size, but we'll keep it to the size that it was. And that'll come in handy in just a sec. So now I'm going to use this select tool. We'll use the rectangle select tool for now. And it gives me this little, I just drag it and drop it where I want to select. And it shows me a dotted line going around the object that I've selected. And I can go back to this move tool and I can move it. Oh my God, how fun. It's just basically like a pair of scissors and now my hand is moving the image. I can edit it, I can copy it, I can do a few different things. Okay, good stuff. And I can just move it right back to normal. I can do the same thing with the ellipse select tool, but this can allow me to create a circle or some kind of ellipse and do the same thing I did with the square. Okay. All right. And then we can also do the same with these um, Smart Select tools, or the Lasso Select is my favorite because it allows me to get a little bit more experimental or exact with the shape. And in Photoshop and other software, they have like a magnetic lasso tool, which is a really great tool, and it conforms a little bit more neatly to what it thinks the object you're trying to select is. So you can experiment with that on your own and see what happens. And there you go. Okay, and then I can also use the select tool to do the inverse selection, which means I've just selected everything but that object. And that means I can edit this by changing the filters or adjusting different parts of the channels, colors, etc. And then this one will be left alone. And in some projects you'll see in the future, it might come in handy that you'll want to be able to select everything but that. Next, we'll go over the Smart Selection tools. The object selection, we'll do quick selection. And this means it's going to analyze the image, and based on the color, the image type, it's going to try to guess and identify what the object is supposed to be. Okay, so it's picked up on the edges of the flower and kind of assumed what we want to pick up on. And it won't always pick up on exactly what the object is supposed to be, as you just saw. Sometimes if there isn't enough contrast, if like the difference between the object and the background isn't pronounced enough, then it might not quite pick up on it right away. So you can just hit Command Z and try doing it again. Command Z or going into Edit and then Undo. So we'll try it again. Ooh, really didn't get it that time. Try this then. There we go. Now it's got my object. Okay, and now I'm going to show you how to copy a layer and then bring it into a new document. Okay, so now I have my object selected. Whatever method you use to select it will work. Like I said, you can hit Command C to copy it, or you can go into Edit and hit Copy or Cut. Either one will work, but if you hit cut, then it will take it out and you'll never see it in this document again. If you hit copy, it just creates a copy. Okay, and then I go into the document. I want to place that object. It could be on top of the bulldog, or it could be where we really want it, which is in our new project folder, cats and dogs, and there it is. Then I can click it, I can move it around. It has its own layer, as you can see over here in the Layers tab. I can toggle that layer on and off to see it. I can rest it on top of the cat, or I can move the layer so it goes behind the cat. And I can resize this image. I could even continue hitting paste, which is Command V, or going into edit and pasting. So I keep getting more sunflowers. If you're hitting Command V and you're having trouble remembering that little shortcut, you can think of V like Velcro. And yeah, you can move these all around. You can arrange the layers. The tricky part about having layers that all look the same, like we have a bunch of different sunflower layers, is you might not remember which one is which. It might not be in the right order, so it can involve a lot of like guess and check for moving things around. Like you could get really organized and rename your layers and be like, this is top sunflower that's big. And usually you can just double click that layer and be like, biggest sunflower. That can be helpful for organizing. But also you have the benefit of there being these little icon visuals. So if your eyesight is good, or you have contacts or something, you can see the position of and the size of your objects in these sweet little icons right there. Okay, so those are the basic in and outs of selecting an image and making a selection with the selection tool, and then adding those images into different places.